Well, it's becoming crystal clear that the Democrats have interpreted their partial victory in the 2018 midterm elections as a license to promote openly socialist policies. But it will soon become equally clear that they also believe their mandate includes unending investigations of President Trump and, dare we say, the I word, impeachment. On what basis, you say? Well, they can figure that out later. With Russian collusion apparently failing to materialize in the Robert Mueller investigation and the Michael Cohen show hearing in the rearview mirror, the Democrats have now sent forth dramatically revised talking points. Here they are. The special counsel probe is too narrow. It doesn't cover enough about obstruction of justice and financial crimes. So it is the duty of us congressional Democrats to carry on with many more investigations. Yes, they believe that Mueller and his nakedly partisan team, consisting almost entirely of politically active Democrats who've donated to Hillary Clinton and or Barack Obama, and that has investigated Trump for almost 2 years and was once their lifeline but is now looking like a major disappointment, has not uncovered the damning evidence on Trump they so dearly desired. So, damn it, they'll go out and find what they want by themselves. And thus they have turned their lonely eyes to a fishing expedition aimed at no less than 81 individuals associated with Trump, from administration officials to members of his own family. Those document demands went out this week. In addition to providing a surfeit of riches in talking points for their 2020 presidential candidates, they appear convinced that their hunt under every rock will produce enough dirt to justify articles of impeachment, even with the certainty that it will not result in Trump's removal from office. That would require 67 votes in the Senate, and that is not going to happen. To the matter of why so much of Cohen's testimony was in closed hearings, former House Intelligence Committee Chair Devin Nunes says it's not hard to figure out.
This is why they don't want him outside. They want him behind closed doors so that we can't talk about the testimony. The bottom line is that Cohen was great for Republicans. It was great for Donald Trump because we now know that the dossier was total bunk. There was no truth to it.
Indeed, Cohen provided nothing new except for the fact that the whole Russia-Trump dossier was based on Cohen going to Prague for an illicit meeting with a Russian agent, which he testified did not happen, that he's never even been to the Czech Republic. And thus, Republican Congressman Jim Jordan said the Democrats didn't lay a glove on Trump.
Michael Cohen is going to prison in 2 months for 4 distinct federal crimes, one of which is lying to Congress, and yet the Democrats made him their star witness, their first announced witness of the 116th Congress. What I know is what the president's done is 2 years as president of the United States. Taxes reduced, regulations reduced, economy growing at an unbelievable rate, lowest unemployment in 50 years. Gorsuch and Kavanaugh on the court. We're out of the Iran deal, embassies in Jerusalem, hostages home from North Korea, and oh, by the way, there's a new NAFTA agreement coming, just to name a few things. So that's what I tend to focus on, is the amazing record we've seen under the leadership of President Trump. And you guys want to talk about a lawyer that worked for him for 10 years that came in and told all kinds of lies.
And so the Democrats and the elite media will continue to deflect attention from Trump's record and the socialist ravings of their upstart progressive members of Congress with investigations of everything about Trump and everyone surrounding him, trolling for anything they can find to kick off impeachment proceedings. Head of the House Judiciary Committee Gerald Nadler made it clear that Democrats are getting ready for impeachment and that it's just a matter of when, not if.
Impeachment is a long way down the road. We don't have the facts yet, but we're going to initiate proper investigations. We are going to initiate investigations into abuses of power, into corruption and into obstruction of justice.
Indeed, the Democrats are playing every angle. Adam Schiff, head of the House Intelligence Committee, is still focused on Russia and a project to build a Trump Tower in Moscow, which never even came to fruition.
We are certainly looking deep into the set of issues around Moscow Trump Tower. We're also looking at persistent allegations that the Russians have been laundering money through the Trump Organization. I don't know that that's true, but if it is, again, it's a profound compromise of this president.
So there it is again. If it's true, so they just throw out allegations knowing the leftist media will dutifully repeat them whether true or not. That's their tactic. If it's true, gives them a chance to talk about the most scurrilous of allegations, regardless of whether they're true or not. Then there's the far-left Congressman Jim Jeffries, who's also focusing on Russia.
You can start Exhibit A being the termination of James Comey, who at the time was presiding over a national security investigation into whether Russian spies cooperated with the Trump campaign to sell out our democracy, interfere with the election, and artificially place Donald Trump in the presidency.
And let's not leave Maxine Mad Max Waters out of the equation. She's been out to get Trump impeached from before he even took office on whatever she can think of.
I have been looking at this president before he was inaugurated, and I came out early talking about impeachment because I knew all about Manafort and Flynn and Sater. And so whether we're talking about collusion or obstruction of justice, we're talking about finances, we're talking about the foundation, this really needs to be investigated and explored.
If all these remarks do not represent a foregone conclusion about impeachment, nothing does. So the plan will apparently be to prepare articles of impeachment and then backfill the specific reasons for it. This in America. It may be that the Democrats' increasingly radical base is demanding impeachment for any reason or no reason, or the party may simply still be hell-bent on revenge for an unthinkable defeat in 2016 to a man they revile with every fiber of their being, or they may actually believe this is what the voters want. Now, on the risk-reward scale of this kind of strategy, it would appear the downside risk of impeachment at any cost easily outweighs the upside reward. After all, the American people knew exactly what they were getting in Trump. He survived the Access Hollywood tape, for heaven's sake, not to mention countless vicious personal attacks from the left. And yet, 62 million voters obviously didn't care about that. They knew they were not voting for Pope. Trump could, as he famously said, fire a shot down Fifth Avenue in New York and not lose a single vote among his base. Conversely, he could walk on water, and the Trump haters would likely respond that it just proves he can't even swim. It's the mass of citizens in neither camp who will decide the 2020 election, and if Mueller's report turns out to be the dud the Democrats are evidently expecting it to be, just how much more of the left's bottomless cup of hatred for Trump will the voters be willing to countenance? Democrats seem to forget or ignore that the midterms hardly represented a wave election. Their victories in the House were accompanied by losses in the Senate. In the lower chamber, in the House, where over 90% of incumbents get elected every 2 years, the Democrats got a gift with the abandonment of seats by 40 GOP House members seeking higher office or retiring. Almost half of those seats were subsequently captured by Democrats. And then there's the clear historical pattern of new presidents suffering losses in their first midterms, more than 30 House seats on average. But the Democrats are evidently convinced that their mandate is for socialist policies and shop till you drop investigations of Trump. Good luck with that. With leftists demonizing the police, there's an alarming shortage of new cops wanting to go into the business. We'll come back to discuss private efforts to try and reverse that growing problem.
Exhausted by all the fake news? On LibertyNation.com's YouTube channel, facts and fresh, bold analysis are what you get without the leftist spin. Subscribe today to the LibertyNation.com YouTube channel because
truth
is
making a comeback.